We have an update on the drowning death of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Now, according to ABC7, they stated that Malcolm-Jamal Warner had drowned while he was on vacation in Costa Rica. Now, the article goes on to say that Warner had drowned off the coast of Costa Rica on Sunday.
Part of me that I will be able to leave this earth, knowing and people knowing that I was a good person.
Something you long believed to be true but realized wasn't.
Well, as one of the main opponents of the Illuminati, I always wanted to know what information they had that we
finally got a shocking update on the tragic drowning of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. According to ABC7, reports confirm that Warner lost his life while on vacation in Costa Rica after drowning off the country's coastline. The article dives into the heartbreaking details, but this story has people talking about something much deeper. For years, Katt Williams has been warning that if you refuse to play by Hollywood's shady rules, especially as a black man, you'll get pushed out.
make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next. Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them. Nobody likes them. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people.
And when you look at Malcolm-Jamal Warner's career, it all starts to add up. Malcolm was never about chasing fame or playing Hollywood's game. He famously turned down roles that tried to make black men look like clowns. He refused to wear a dress, refused to act like a joke. And because of that, he was quietly pushed aside. Not because he lacked talent, because he absolutely had it, but because he wouldn't play along. Now that he's gone, the same media and celebrities that ignored him when he was alive are suddenly flooding social media with tributes, calling him a legend and saying he was so underrated.
It's fragile, and in the blink of an eye,
You never know.
you never know. So speaking of legacy, what do you hope that your legacy is going to be?
Part of me that I will be able to leave this earth, knowing and people knowing that I was a good person.
But everyone's asking, where was all this love and respect when Malcolm was still here? Where was all that love when Malcolm was doing real work on his own terms and refusing to play Hollywood's game? This isn't some wild conspiracy for clicks. It's a pattern that Katt Williams has been calling out for years. He's been warning everyone about how the industry treats the ones who dare to say no, and Malcolm's story is the perfect example.
How people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work. Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
So let's get into what Katt has been exposing, what Malcolm actually stood for, and why all the praise came pouring in only after he passed away. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, beloved for his role as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, tragically lost his life on July 20th, 2025. He was on a family trip in Limon, Costa Rica, spending quality time swimming with his 8-year-old daughter when disaster struck. The two were suddenly caught in a deadly rip current that's infamous at that beach for being extremely dangerous.
Back, we have some very sad breaking entertainment news to share with you. TMZ is reporting that Malcolm-Jamal Warner, probably best known for his role on The Cosby Show, has died. People report that the 54-year-old was in Costa Rica on a family vacation and accidentally drowned while swimming.
Saw when we pulled up to the beach, signs in Spanish and English warning people about potentially hazardous conditions. This sign even giving a roadmap for how to escape a rip current.
To make matters worse, this beach often has no lifeguards on duty. And that day, there were none around because resources had been moved to other beaches after recent incidents. Surfers nearby saw the father and daughter fighting for their lives. One brave surfer managed to rescue Malcolm's daughter while another rushed to save him. Tragically, by the time first responders arrived, it was too late. Malcolm couldn't be revived and was pronounced dead from asphyxia caused by drowning. Even the heroic surfer who tried to save him was badly hurt and had to be rushed to a hospital in critical condition. Malcolm's autopsy report was finally released, confirming that his death was purely accidental. But that didn't make the heartbreak any easier to handle. It shook everyone to the core. Malcolm wasn't just another Hollywood face. He was one of those rare child stars who grew up without losing himself to fame. He stayed true to who he was, never sold out, and never let the industry turn him into something he wasn't.
I spent, so much of the early part of my life listening to, being celebrated on one hand, but paying way too much attention to the naysayers.
By the time he left us, Malcolm had built an incredible life. He was a self-made multimillionaire, an Emmy-nominated actor, a Grammy-winning musician, a talented poet, a skilled director, and a passionate social activist. On top of all that, he was happily married, never divorced, and a devoted father, raising his child with love and stability, never caught up in messy scandals or drama.
So even before conception, we were very clear we were having a girl. And I knew that I needed a girl first to kind of ease me into it because I have a pretty good idea of what kind of father I would be. Mm-hmm. So I needed a girl to kind of, slow me down and warm, soften me up, if you will. So for me, raising my daughter, I came into fatherhood already with a certain maturity and certain understanding of male-female dynamics. And with a girl, all of that starts with the father. So I've always, since I literally pulled her out of my wife.
Anyone who ever worked with Malcolm had nothing but respect for him. He was living proof of how a strong, grounded man can succeed in a brutal industry without losing his dignity. And then, out of nowhere, this freak accident takes him at just 54 years old, while he was living his best life in paradise with his family. The only tragic thing about Malcolm's story is how short it was, because everything else about his life was a blueprint for success, love, and purpose. We need to talk about how Hollywood completely ghosted Malcolm while he was alive, and how Katt Williams' warnings hit even harder now. Malcolm didn't fall off like some people claim. He simply refused to play Hollywood's dirty game. After The Cosby Show, Malcolm had every chance to be a major TV star. He could have been on big network sitcoms, loud slapstick comedies, and goofy blockbuster roles, but he turned all of that down. Instead, he chose to stay low-key and intentional about his career. He refused to take roles that made black men look silly or cartoonish. No dresses, no clown acts, no playing into tired stereotypes. He wanted to stand for something real, and that came at a cost. And this is where Katt Williams comes in.
Has never been a person that has been parodied 9 times on Saturday Night Live and yet never been invited other than me. I, at this point, take it as a badge of honor that they don't fuck with me. A lot of times when people are doing an impression of you, they're really showing you how they feel about you. You know what I mean? So for Saturday Night Live to have an impression of me and have a woman do that means they think I'm a bitch. And I understand that that's what they're saying when they do that. I understand how the game goes. And I understand that if you love me, I know why you do. And if you don't with me, I understand why.
Katt has been shouting about this for years through interviews, stand-up specials, and podcasts, breaking down how black entertainers get boxed in and told to play their character if they want to reach the top. Just like Malcolm, Katt also turned down those degrading roles, and he's paid the price for speaking out. Their stories line up too perfectly to ignore, and it proves exactly what Katt has been warning about all along. Fat suits, wild wigs, and over-the-top clown roles. If you refuse that mess, Hollywood was quick to label you difficult, crazy, or unreliable. That's exactly how they treated people who didn't fall in line. Malcolm, on the other hand, was the total opposite: talented, disciplined, and incredibly smart. But because he didn't fit their formula and he refused to play a stereotype for laughs, Hollywood quietly pushed him to the sidelines. The thing is, Malcolm didn't even care about Hollywood's approval. He was thriving on his own terms. He launched a podcast called Not All Hood, where he spoke openly about how Hollywood and mainstream media constantly tried to paint black people as one single shallow stereotype.
Be a moratorium on both of those words in hip hop because it's low-lying fruit. It's so easy. Everybody fucking does it to the point that it's corny. Like there are MCs who I love, who I cannot listen to anymore because I love J. Cole, but I had to stop listening to J. Cole because I got tired of hearing nigga and bitch
as much
every 2 sentences because he's proven himself to be such a incredible lyricist
that you think it's just too low-hanging fruit for him to use those words.
I feel like
instead of bowing to their demands, Malcolm dedicated himself to projects that actually mattered. He chose roles and produced content centered on social justice and education, working on plays, documentaries, and creative pieces that highlighted black history and systemic racism. He proved you could stand firm, keep your dignity, and still create meaningful art without selling out to Hollywood's toxic game. Back in 2021, Malcolm dropped a powerful and brutally honest op-ed for the Television Academy, and it ruffled a lot of feathers in Hollywood. In it, he didn't hold back as he broke down how the power structure in entertainment really works. Malcolm called out the fact that white network executives, writers, producers, and directors are still the ones holding the keys to the images we see of black people on television. He explained that his own career happened to rise during one of those short cycles in Hollywood where the gate would open just a crack, enough for black creatives to feel like they had some input, but never enough to truly have control. According to Malcolm, even when black characters are shown as wealthy or highly educated, the stereotypes don't magically go away. Instead, they just get repackaged in a way that still feels safe for the people in charge. And Malcolm didn't just limit his truth-telling to TV and film. He was outspoken about the state of modern rap and hip-hop, too. He regularly criticized the culture for glorifying misogyny, toxic masculinity, and violence, saying that hip-hop needed more accountability and more focus on healing the community. When the explosive Kendrick Lamar versus Drake feud went viral last year, Malcolm once again stepped up and spoke his mind. He pointed out how sad it was that hip-hop only seems to dominate mainstream conversations when there's beef, negativity, or drama, never when artists are spreading uplifting or positive messages. His words hit hard because they exposed an uncomfortable truth. Malcolm was one of the few celebrities who wasn't afraid to shine a light on how deeply controlled the entertainment industry really is. And this ties directly into what Katt Williams has been saying for years: Hollywood will only lift you up if they can control your image, your voice, and your story. Malcolm's life, career, and unapologetic honesty proved that he knew exactly how the game worked, and he refused to let himself be used as a puppet just to fit their agenda. Malcolm made it crystal clear. He wanted to represent black men as smart, complex, real human beings. But Hollywood had a different plan for him. They wanted him stuck in that teen heartthrob box or shoved into goofy sidekick roles that made people laugh at him, not with him. Malcolm refused to play along. He turned down tons of roles that could have made him more famous, but would have cost him his respect. And that decision came with real consequences. While Malcolm stayed true to himself, plenty of other black actors from his era were blowing up by doing the exact opposite, leaning into stereotypes, cashing huge checks, and playing whatever roles the industry threw their way. Some of them made it work for themselves, but Malcolm wasn't willing to take that route. He stuck to his lane, even when it cost him opportunities. In interviews, Malcolm hinted that his own team told him he was too serious and not marketable enough. Translation, he was too black, too smart, too principled. Hollywood didn't know what to do with a man who wouldn't bend to their rules, so eventually they just stopped calling. And this is exactly what Katt Williams has been warning about for years. He said it over and over. If you refuse to play the fool or go through Hollywood's humiliation rituals, they'll erase you like you never existed. But now that Malcolm is gone, Hollywood is suddenly everywhere, gushing over him with tributes, heartfelt social media posts, and articles calling him a legend and a pioneer. Where was all this love when he was alive? Because Malcolm never chased fame, never sold out, and never gave in to Hollywood's tricks, the big platforms and award shows largely ignored him. Now those same studios and streaming services are hyping up tributes, digging up unreleased projects with his name on them, and celebrities are sharing emotional stories about him after they spent years pretending he wasn't there. It feels like overnight, Malcolm suddenly became the safe black icon that everyone wants to celebrate, and that right there is the classic Hollywood playbook. They never uplift you while you're alive for being real, principled, and standing your ground. Instead, they wait until you can't speak for yourself anymore, then they repackage your image for woke points and profit. Katt Williams has been screaming about this exact thing for years, and here it is playing out again. The system only gives black talent their flowers when it fits their narrative, when it's safe, and when the person they're praising can no longer push back. So now we have to ask, are these tributes real love, or is this just Hollywood doing its usual cleanup job after the fact? Malcolm-Jamal Warner wasn't just another celebrity. He was one of the very few who stayed grounded, thoughtful, and committed to his principles in an industry that constantly rewards the opposite. He refused to sell out. He chose purpose over popularity. And because of that, Hollywood quietly pushed him to the sidelines for years. His death is more than just a tragic loss. It's a brutal reminder of how rare it is to see someone succeed with real integrity in a world that demands you play along to rise to the top. What do you think? Was Malcolm punished for refusing to play Hollywood's game? And why does it always take someone's death for the industry to finally show them respect? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.